This is your announcer, Shannon Saint Mainframe, welcoming you to our IP Livecast. This week everyone was downloading the new big app, Threads. Not me though. My ex-boyfriend is the Threads server. Brings back bad memories. Yup, he had the grasshopper dick. No thank you. Our IP Livecast starts now.
No good grasshopper dick.
So am I correct in it? I'm trying to process the world that's been posited here by Shannon, which is that robots, although they exist in the cloud and she's technically an AI, there's some corporeal form where they bang the shit out of each other, and the males have a penis and the women have a vagina. Is this correct?
Yes, they have digital male and female parts.
I see. So there is a physical Shannon walking around somewhere with a vagina. A vagina.
No.
Vagina.
It's digital.
Oh,
Something
It's
about
all in
bandwidth,
the cloud.
right?
I got you.
I don't know. There's a movie in here somewhere. Welcome to RIP Livecast. It is Saturday, July 8th. Rob here with Sid and Darren.
Hello.
It's a beautiful Saturday morning. A great time to hang out and banter.
Rob, you're looking very tan, I have to say.
Thank you. I've been hitting the beach. It's the beach season, and I've been trying to go a few mornings a week when I'm not doing BJJ. I actually snuck in a beach sesh before.
Did you say PB&J?
BJJ. BJJ. I know, I'm confused. Damn it.
B&J.
Big black Jews.
No, that's what I mean. Listen, Rob's very tan. I wouldn't call him black.
It is a little depressing because there's been some smoke over the water the last
Isn't that a
week
song?
on the
Yeah.
beach. It's true. But this time it's climate change and it sucks.
Is it the wildfires or?
I'm not quite sure. It's this weird fog over the beach and the water.
Haven't there also been shark attacks reported, like in Long Island?
Oh yeah.
Say what?
Yeah, but
Be
I feel
careful,
like that's
Rob.
every season. I'm not afraid of sharks.
Just stay inside.
What? That is.
I'm
That's
not
a
afraid of
very bold
sharks.
statement.
What about all the good things, sharks? I feel like I went on a snorkeling thing in Miami a few years ago, and it was like a 1 hour ride to the site from from South Beach, from where we were staying. And we went on the ride with our guide, who was this fresh out of college graduate girl in like marine biology. And she was so excited about her job that she literally told us every fact about sharks, and was essentially like, sharks are humans are not natural prey for sharks. They would not attack you unless they feel attacked.
That's misleading. That's from what I understand about sharks, because sharks do. That is true. That sharks are not interested in eating human beings, but what they do is that they're like cats. Like they play with their surroundings. Like they will investigate something, and the way they investigate things is they use their teeth and rip it apart. And you will be that. You will be the thing that the cat plays with.
They have very sensitive noses, so if a shark does approach you, just bop it on the nose and it'll run the hell away.
I don't believe
so. That's my strategy.
I mean,
I didn't realize you were a marine biologist, Darren.
No.
Are you questioning this random marine biologist I talked to 5 years ago? Is that what I'm understanding now,
I'm
Darren?
questioning your interpretation of your interaction.
That's
with
fair.
Because 100% you were stoned when she told you these facts.
Absolutely not. I was 100%
Liar.
sober. This was
Sober?
This was after sober.
Are you sober
I'm not
now?
sober. I'm not sober now.
Sober is when you only take one hit before starting the podcast. That's you being sober.
Before we proceed, just in case you're a new listener, I want to explain a reference that Rob just made. That's very old. It comes from this drop.
But what about all the good things Hitler did?
Back in Rob's edgelord days.
Okay. Oh, did you have
Apparently,
more?
well, I Googled it while you guys were jumping down my throat.
I did not do that. Very polite addition.
And according to the New York Times, which obviously we can trust, the nose is not the most sensitive part of the shark.
It's
And
the clit.
They claim.
Then you got to sit there and find the shark's clit. Oh my god!
It's massive, Darren. Don't worry.
Well,
it's
it's the eyes and gills.
Oh,
That's
good
their
luck.
clit.
Both
That's a
are
weird.
very
place to-
fingerable.
The eyes and gills are the most sensitive parts, is what they're
Sound like
saying.
a
So,
heart to-
okay, so it's saying aiming for the nose, which is not known to be a weak spot, is considered a bad idea. And then this zoologist says the reason is if you miss the snout, its mouth is right under it.
Yeah.
And then boom.
Boom.
Yeah.
The most sensitive part of your dick. Give it to me.
Leaked audio of Rob's phone call with a shark.
But anyway, I'm not. I feel I don't swim that far. I really look. If a shark wants to get a bite of me, fine. It's fine. I'll live. I'll be fine.
Will
What's
you?
the worst? Sure.
This is like
Well,
maybe the half dozenth time you've said something on here that indicates you don't care whether you die or not. I'm not kidding. Like you said,
I'm not going. But really, though, like the odds here are so small that I'm not going to limit my enjoyment. And like going for a swim is literally one of the greatest pleasures in my life. So I would not deny myself that for the rare possibility that a shark might nibble on my skin.
Pools don't have sharks in them typically.
That's true, but most pools in New York are not outdoors, and I
have
enjoy
old
looking
Russian
at the
people.
sky.
Now,
Well, the beach also has old Russian people, so it's not like it cancels it
yeah.
out.
I would never suggest you don't go in the water. I think what Sid and I are saying is have your shark preparation skills honed to something more than a 5-year-old conversation with a marine biologist.
Yeah.
Be ready. Be ready.
Certainly.
Do they teach
I
you
mean,
that at DBJ?
No, at BJJ they do, yes.
What about PB and J?
They teach you to be even, an even amount of P, B, and J.
I see. Don't like a big lump of Skippy in there. Spread it
Yeah, or
around
like a
little
big
bit.
one of the chunks with the nuts. You gotta like really knife it in.
This is a shitty conversation. Chunks with nuts.
Peanut butter can look like shit. So
If we're off the shark thing now, I have a little bit of a story to tell you
Ooh.
because a couple of weeks ago, I think you asked me if I'd ever been hit on by a man, and I remembered that it just happened recently. It slipped my mind while we were talking about it. But I do one of these leagues, like a softball league. That's a gay league. The most pleasant experience. Everyone there is nice.
Are there any fun, ironic team names in the gay league, or just?
It's like I feel like it's more retro type names, like the Hellcats, and like they're the Divas. I feel like it's not. They're
not what I'm looking for.
It's lesbians and there's no like sexual. They're trying to be very classy. I feel like, but I would say like more pop culture-y gay type names. Like the women, the women's teams, the lesbian teams are all like sort of sound like Roger Corman movies. Whatever.
I don't remember if I mentioned this previously on the podcast, but I remember I was at a diner once and a lesbian softball team was having lunch at the table next to us, and their team name was the Last Licks.
Oh, that's very clever.
It was great. Yeah.
I enjoy that because that's a baseball reference and a pussy eating reference.
Yeah,
together.
exactly. It's perfect.
So I was running. I think it was one day we did the show and I had to like leave the show and race to this field. So I got, but somehow I lucked out and I got there still a little bit early. I was there about 20 minutes early. So there's they start at 9 a.m. So I'm just sitting there watching the game, hanging out, drinking water. And I'm at the end of the dugout and this guy comes down to me and he's like probably, I don't know, 55, but like a young looking 55 with a white beard, thin. He looked like older Anderson Cooper. I would say like Anderson Cooper's dad or something. Very nice guy. He's just started chatting me up. Like he was very clearly flirting with me, but it wasn't like, it was very like old school flirting. It was like, making a nice conversation. And, if I was so inclined in that direction, I would have said, well, this is a nice guy. Maybe I can get to know this person as opposed to like oppressive hitting.
Yeah.
So I was fine with it. I was just had a nice long conversation talking about like Broadway shows and everything. He seemed like very intrigued that I like Broadway shows as if not in the sense that
like the tell.
Not in the sense that we have a shared interest, but this might be a green flag for me to proceed into the, pants.
Were there
but-
were are there any shows in particular you discussed?
Oh, this I can't remember the actual conversation. But it
Evita?
was something. It was something he had just seen, and I said, "Oh, I mentioned that I might want to see that," and then he was like, "Oh, really?" But wait, there's a twist to this. So there's a twist to this because I think he was a gay MAGA.
Oh
I think
no!
he was one of the
What?
gay Republicans. I'm guessing because I came. This is an outdoor field, but I came off the train and the bus, and I had my mask on because I wear that. I don't really wear it outside anymore, but I wear it when I'm indoors or in a cramped space.
Mhm.
So I was doing the chin strap thing because I just didn't. I forgot. It wasn't like in my head to take it off. I was running to get there, and then I got into this conversation. So I have the chin strap on. And he goes, at the middle of the conversation, you don't have to wear that mask. You know that, right? And I said, well, what do you mean? I'm not wearing it. It's outside. I just forgot to, and I start taking it off. And he goes, yeah, but it's really not necessary. He's just like, I was like, well, what? This guy's giving me a lecture. And it was like the same thing about the story I told at City Field. He's like, doctors say. And I was like, well, yeah, my doctor says I should wear it, so I'm just going to listen. Well, there was a whole thing about the big pharmaceutical companies just wanted to scare you into wearing a mask, and he started giving me this whole lecture about.
This was the Mets guy or the guy
no,
flirting
this
with
was the gay guy that was hitting.
Oh,
on me.
okay.
He downshifted into, you don't need a mask, and then he was about. I think he was about to go into vaccines are a hoax. Like he kind of tiptoed around the edge of that. And I was like, all right, I got to go do my game now.
So in his mind, he probably thinks that he fully had you ready to bang until he did that and he blew it.
You think so?
Yes.
Maybe he overreached, like he should have waited till the first date. Maybe. I never indicated no, by the way.
Yeah.
I never said no. I was trying to be polite. First of all, because I work in this league, and who knows what if same thing with a man and a woman. Like if a woman's interested in a man and they say the wrong thing, you don't know, that might be a perfectly nice guy, but he might be a crazy person.
Yeah.
So I was trying to be polite and not have, then I got to do this league and this person goes, you piece of shit. And he's angry at me or whatever. So I was trying to be nice. So I didn't outright say, no, I'm not interested, but maybe
have you seen him since? Have you done this league since?
I did not see him since.
Okay.
I think it ended cordially anyway. Like I was like, I got to go to my game now. It's like, oh, okay. See you later.
Was he on one of your teams? Or was he
like,
just
okay. Here's a little pamphlet with some information on why you can't trust those shots.
I left out a detail. The way that started, he said, you shouldn't cover up your pretty face with the mask.
That's the most important. I was gonna say, like,
That's
nothing here starts like nothing in the story hits me like a flirtation. It could just be an innocent conversation.
Right. No. He said
but
that. Yeah,
that changes everything.
He said that, and he said something else about. He said he made two overt compliments to me, and they were like old man compliments. None of it was like, oh, a nice ass or anything.
Did he say you were a handsome man?
It was something like that. Yeah, it was like the Derensky guy. Very much so.
That just reminded me of a story from Toronto that I didn't mention previously. I forgot to mention it, but I went to a bathhouse there because it's a very liberal city.
You went to a bathhouse for the purposes of a bath, you're saying?
I mean, mostly, but anything above that is a nice added bonus. But after 2 days of walking for like 8 miles a day, I absolutely wanted to hop into a jacuzzi and get those jets, like massaging my back. Like that was the thing I most wanted to do at the bathhouse.
And then if somebody wants to help you wash your cock and balls, great.
I only asked you that because it seems to me in the past when you've gone to a baño or whatever, you have said, like, listen, I'm a gay guy, but I really just want the fucking baña.
Yeah.
Like, I remember you having.
Well, when I'm on the road, this was also like, this is like a known spot. And they don't really have these in New York because we don't necessarily need them. So it's a fun, it's also like a touristy thing to just
What do you mean we don't need them?
There's plenty of ways to hook up without a bathhouse.
And there aren't in Toronto?
I guess not. I guess it's more.
You know what it is? They're too polite. They don't come out and say, "I want your dick." Like they're Canadians. Gay Canadians are still Canadians.
Everyone was polite. Everyone was polite at the bathhouse. But the point I'm making is one floor is the spa area, so it's the jacuzzi, and then there's a hot sauna and a dry sauna and a wet sauna. So a dry sauna would be like the typical sauna experience you would assume to be just a hot room, and then a wet sauna is like there's mist that gets sprayed into
So that's
the
when the
air.
collector
So it's like
comes in.
it feels well. The wet sauna is typically where the hookups happen because of the mistiness. It creates a fog and it's hard to see, and so
you're like
it's,
pre-lubed.
oh, absolutely, exactly. Sid, you get it.
I know what's up.
So
Nipple rim hair.
where are you getting these drops?
Why
I was
did you
on
say
the
it so
Hitler one, and it's on the same page with all these
I
Rob
see.
drops.
I see. I guess it was like early in the night, although not too early because it did take a while to get in. By the way, so when we got, so this is to be clear, this is a gay bathhouse. So it's all men, and it's all nude. So
You have to be nude, or just
Yes.
allowed to be nude.
no, you have to be nude. I think.
Wow.
I mean, it's
Mandatory
the understanding you're going there to be. Well, you get a towel to be clear, so you're walking around in a towel and a towel that you can cover up, but you can't have clothes on. I mean, I just didn't see anybody with clothes.
Right.
on.
I feel like they're probably all opting out of clothes.
Yeah. I'm not sure if someone would get shit, but I think like you wouldn't be able to go into the sauna areas with clothes on,
Gotcha.
because that's just more of a hygienic thing. So the moment I walk in, like when I'm thinking like a gay bathhouse, I'm not thinking this, which is like there was a scent of marinara sauce, and there was just
What?
there
was Vito
was-
there from The Sopranos?
So when you walk in, the first area you walk into is the bar, and I guess because it was Pride, it was a special occasion. They were selling meatball subs. So
The
there's
worst place I could think of for a meatball.
Thank you. That was exactly my thought. This is not food for a bathhouse. Like, I don't want the scent of marinara infecting my nostrils like when I'm thinking about sex.
I
Marinara
was
and
here.
beef.
It's a joke.
Are you allowed to eat it in the jacuzzi?
No.
Are there like
all
meatballs floating?
all the food, all the food and drink had to have been eaten at the
I'll
bar.
tell you.
But it's all these guys just in a towel, like lining up for a fucking meatball.
How is this a popular option? I don't know.
I don't know. I didn't get. It was such a weird first impression of this.
I'll tell you,
place.
you eat enough of those subs, something else going to be floating in that sauna.
Exactly.
You feel like a pig.
You're hitting exactly all the places where my mind went with it. Like, and this isn't even the first time I've had like a weird. This is also only in Canada when I've gone to bathhouses in Canada that they serve food. I remember I was there. I was in Montreal for New Year's, and we went to a bathhouse, and they put out a whole platter, like a deli platter of like cold cuts and breads.
Oh my
and the
God.
thing is, it was self-serve, so you have all these naked men with like chlorine on their fucking hands grabbing cold cuts with their hands. It was just like, what? It was weird. It was weird. People just eating naked, and that one I remember was no towel. So it's. I just think like if you're having a bathhouse, don't serve food.
This
Drinks
is also a
one
place,
thing.
I mean, and no judgment, but this is a place where people are probably having sex somewhere on the premises, right?
Yes,
I mean, I wouldn't
yes,
want to eat a
absolutely.
fucking slice of mortadella after they fucking somebody's just been jerking somebody off. Like,
Well,
no,
not in
again,
that in
no
that
judgment.
room. In that room, there was no sex. In the room
But-
where the food
but
is.
like in the
They
next
walked
room
over
over.
from the next room. I mean, come on.
yeah, you would hope they showered first. There's a lot of
Right,
showers in
go
the
have
facility.
all the sex you like. It just does not mix with cold cuts.
Well, so anyway, the reason I got to the story and the way you reminded me of it is the politics thing. So I early in the visit, I after my hot tub, after I got enough jets on my back, I was like, oh, I want a bit of a schwitz now. So I go
Wait, was
into
Joe
the-
Klecko there?
Oh,
I was going to make a Ken O'Brien reference.
Oh, okay. Close.
So-
They're probably on the
Same
same
era.
team.
Yeah.
so I know, and everyone, there's a wide range of people from normal to very weird that go to these places, as you would expect. There would
Yeah.
be people that are socially awkward creeps that show up. So there was this one very short person, just like like short, stubby person, just looked like a thumb, like constantly like looking around everywhere, like poking around, like what do you know, whatever, and like looking for a hookup or looking to watch a hook. I don't know what he was looking for. And I go into the wet sauna, and every like minute he would poke his head in to see if like anyone was having sex, I assume. But like every minute, and it's like you're standing right outside the sauna. You saw nobody has come in or out since the last time you looked, and whatever. And
There might be someone under the grate, Rob. You don't know.
so then it was me and one other person in the sauna who I was not attracted to. It was just like another bear type, and he just like yelled out like, "What do you keep opening the door for? Stop it! There's nothing like." Either come in, because there's nothing going on in here. And then he starts talking, some people here, they're too sensitive. And like, they're so weird. I was in here a few days ago. I'm going to drop the accent. I was in here a few days ago, and I was talking about.
Is this the bear talking now or the creep?
This is the bear. The bear was yelling at the creep to stop opening the door. You're letting the mist out. Like, what are you looking at? And I guess I kind of responded to him like, I don't understand. Like, I guess he thinks something else will happen. And then he assumed this is now a conversation. So he starts telling me how, this place is really weird. You never know who could be in here. And at first I'm like, yeah, totally. I get that. And he was like, that movie, There Will Be Blood. There was this guy here and I was talking to him. Oh, not There Will Be Blood. Gangs of New York. That's what it was. And that movie, Gangs of New York. And I was talking about how in that movie, this one guy said, blah, 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 the N-word. And he said the N-word. Blah, blah, blah. And I'm talking about this movie, and this guy's like, "What are you doing? You can't talk about that. You can't say that word here, whatever." And he's like, I'm just telling a story about this movie. I didn't call you, whatever. And can you believe it? They threw me out, and I'm like, why am I in this conversation right now? And then I'm going to pause here because I want to ask you guys, how could this conversation possibly get any more awkward at this moment? And I want to be clear, it's nobody comes in, it's just between the two of us. Like what can he say to really make my gut drop right now?
He pulled some of the mortadelle from the salad bowl out of his towel.
No, he goes.
He says, "I fucking hate sunflower seeds. They're like the N-word of food."
Close. He goes. Like Bill Maher said. Oh no! I'm like, what am I doing? And then he's like going, and I'm like, you know what? Just like let him talk. Let him run out. I'm just gonna sit here.
It's harder than it sounds.
But then he kept rambling on and on to the point that I had to say something back. Like they're talking about cancel cult, like this whole rant about how you can't say
the whole thing.
The whole thing. He starts going on about how this Washington Post reporter, Dave Wigel, made this one joke, and this woman, he didn't know the reporter's name, but like I figured out the story based on the little information that he gave. He was like, he made this joke, and then this other reporter reported, and he got suspended. Can you believe this? And I'm like, yeah, I could believe it. He didn't lose his job, though. He still works there. Like, What are you talking about? I started pushing back a little, and then like, you know what? I gotta go. And I literally just ran out.
That's great.
And I was just like, I've never had such a wonderful,
Is it
wonderfully
possible
awkward,
that the guy
experience.
peeking in gets off on awkward conversations, and he just kept peeking in to see if that guy had made you uncomfortable yet, and that's when he starts beating off?
What if they're like a couple that they set up these situations that they like?
Shit.
He's obnoxious to people on purpose. That guy loves that he's awkward and fulfilling his fantasy.
That's
It's a good cop, bad cop thing. He was playing good cop, trying to tell that guy to stop over there. I'm like, oh, this guy seems good. And then boom, he hits me with the Bill Maher talk.
What was the Bill Maher quote, by the way? Do you remember what?
Just about how you can't say anything anymore. Everyone's so sensitive. You can't use like words. You can't use words anymore. Like he's basically like saying Bill Maher told him he could say the N-word in certain contexts.
Have we really reached the point where we can't say the N-word in a gay sauna? I mean, come on.
I love that also, though. He got kicked out of this place for saying the N-word. And he had to tell me with saying the full word that he got like he learned nothing.
But also, clearly, they let him back in.
Oh yeah, it was just like for the night. Well, I'm sure they just want.
That's not much of a
money.
ban.
Yeah.
He wasn't. Yeah, exactly.
And they
It's
let
like,
him
so you
finish jerking off before they actually kicked him out.
got-
It was
Too
the
nice.
it had nothing to do with the N-word, Rob. He wrapped some of the mortadella around his cock and then put it back on the salad tray.
They don't like that kind of sharing.
Yes, and that's the one where I'd agree. Unlike
Yeah.
what our friend was complaining about.
Absolutely. That is a good place to not be into sharing of that kind.
Yes.
Well,
There's certain
consensual
kind of
sharing
sharing.
is fine. You don't put
Yeah.
it back on the fucking. You don't mess with people's cold cuts. Is what I'm saying.
Preach.
It's like rape almost.
Wow.
What?
You're making me
Aaron, you're
eat-
about to get canceled.
You're touching the cold cuts with your genitals, like sort of secondhand way, right?
At
And
the
then
very
that-
least, it's indecent something.
Yeah. Right? Am I wrong?
Well, what if
decent charcuterie.
you wash your hands before going to the buffet? Is that fine?
That would then, if everyone uses the best possible hygiene, I would say then it's the club's fault for putting it out there.
Yeah.
Oh, I agree. It's all on the club. I don't blame the dudes with their dick swinging around and their pre-cum falling on the cold cuts.
oh, come on.
man.
Oh.
I don't blame them at all.
I would say it's like 90% the club, and it's still 10% the dudes with the dick
Yeah.
swinging because you have to. I feel like it's your ethical responsibility to not partake in this cold cut smorgasbord
absolutely.
in this
yeah.
situation.
There needs
Yeah.
to be two separate food areas. One where you come in from the street and before you've gotten naked and done all that, you can have a nice meal. And the other one for the perverts is like you go, you fuck, you whack off, whatever. You use a cold cut to wipe your dick off, and then you serve it to the next man.
Then it's consensual.
Yes.
I fully support
Two
this.
separate areas.
And it needs to be proper signage that says,
Yeah. Yes.
This is the wrap your penis in salami room. And the other one is the just eat food separately from this stuff room.
Should wrap your penis in salami be the episode title?
If it beats the, if it doesn't get us like censored anywhere.
What do you
sure.
think, Rob?
Sure. Should make it work. But other than that, I had a great time.
I think sound like you got a good story out of it at least.
No, yeah, no. I mean, as it was happening, I was like, I can't wait to share this on the live cast. So,
By the way, Sid, I think it should be the wrap your penis in salami room. Should be the full title. Otherwise, it's like we're just telling people to do that.
Which is also fun.
There needs to be a designated room for it. Is all I'm saying. I have no judgments whatsoever. What people wrap their penises in. All day, wrap your penis in anything you like.
Could you use salami as a condom? Or is it
I don't
too
think that would
breaky?
work. It's
Yeah.
porous. It's got those pores in it.
What would be the best cold cut to use as a prophylactic?
I would say boar's head spiced ham because
Maybe
it's
a
like,
head
Spice might
cheese?
burn your dick.
it's not that spicy. Head cheese. I feel like head cheese has holes. Am I wrong on that?
It does have
Gelatin.
like stuff in it, right? That could poke out.
Get a little head while wearing head cheese. You know what? I'm gonna change my mind. I'm gonna go with one of the turkeys, and one of the dry ass turkeys made by a shitty boar's head, which is like peppermill turkey. I would say
Okay.
because
those
it's so
two,
dry.
like flake apart.
Peppermill turkey flakes apart.
they?
Maybe I avoid boar's head like the plague. So I think the last time I ate it was years ago, but I remember it being like a solid piece of plywood.
Dusty Rhodes Muffler says gabagool. You know what's a good
Gabagool.
one?
No, that's
Prosciutto. Prosciutto.
Slippery. But
Yeah.
wouldn't prosciutto? I thought of prosciutto first, but wouldn't it be slippery, like slide off your
It's
dick?
very rubbery.
It's just more malleable and pliable, and I don't think it would break apart, and it would stick to you. I think,
Hmm.
like the
Yeah.
fatty parts are very sticky.
I can buy that.
And
So
they
there
would
you go.
provide some natural lube with the fat.
Yeah.
Well,
It's
we
delicious.
found the answer. Cold cut dick
Is
is
that better or worse than grasshopper dick?
grasshopper dick. Oh, grasshopper dick. You poured grasshopper. You'd smash. You can't put a grasshopper on your dick.
I mean, somebody probably has.
Richard Gere. Wasn't that he was the urban myth was the gerbil thing, right?
And then also stomach pumping. Or was that
Oh,
Rod?
that
No,
right?
that was
That's
Rod Stewart.
John Bon Jovi, I heard.
And Rod Stewart.
Okay, I think they just recycle these stupid
Yes,
urban
for
legends
sure.
for different generations of stars.
Yeah.
It's probably Timothy Chalamet now or whatever. Anyone who straight guys are like threatened by who's a good-looking man, they say that they're gay and have their stomach pumped from cum and whatever bullshit people make up.
Yeah.
I think though that there might be a culture, like a generational shift with that, because of just bisexuality and pansexuality being more prevalent. That, like, for example, with Timothy Chalamet, like that wouldn't, like, his softness, so to speak, wouldn't even be clocked as necessarily gay.
I think you're too optimistic about the human spirit. I think I think the people we know probably maybe, but I think the population at large is still just look at him and go, "Oh, he's gay, he's a F word," you know.
Maybe, I guess with like Harry Styles too, but
I think the overall tone has shifted in the country. You're right, but I think there's still a vast percentage of the people who are openly homophobic.
Yeah,
I hear it at poker all the time, like just gay, anti-gay stuff.
Oh, at poker, like how old are the people spouting?
You know,
stuff?
there are
Gen
old
Z
people,
guys.
but there are a good number of like 20s to 30s aged people.
Mm-hmm. Okay,
you know, it's a nice broad spectrum of people.
It is interesting now too with the bigots, like they're kind of using language that minorities and liberals used to talk about how they're not allowed to be bigots. Like my opinion is being oppressed.
Oh.
Like pride is being forced upon my children, or whatever. You know, like acceptance of gays is being forced upon my children, and like these damn pride people are bullying me.
Right, they got to come out of the closet as straight Christians.
Yeah.
Funny as shit.
Yeah.
That's the thing that I take the most exception to. I feel is that they're so fucking whiny. Like, just your whole like reason for being, like your whole manifesto is that people are too soft nowadays and all that stuff, and yet you whine about the fucking like lamest shit. Like Big Bird is gay, and like Bert and Ernie shouldn't be living together. Like,
there's too much estrogen in our food.
Holy shit, you're scared of tofu. Like, come on, bro. Like, that's so soft. I know I'm not treading any new ground here, but whenever I see that, it's like, don't you stop and listen to yourself for a second? Like, you're ranting against soybeans.
Yeah, I don't get it at all.
Which is a massive United States export, isn't it? Like,
oh, is that right?
Do the right wingers hate the farmers now? Is that what's going on?
Clearly,
that's where all the farming subsidies go to soybean farmers.
Oh well, guess they hate America
or cone.
See, nobody's all bad. They hate America. Somebody's got to just nudge them a little bit left. You're starting in the right place. Just take it a little further. I thought we were going that way for a little while when we had remember the Canadian riots about the protests about the
trucker caravan?
Yeah. And you started hearing like some anti-government like rhetoric from right wingers, like they're not treating workers correctly. And, you know, like I was like, hey, just expand that to something else too, you know?
Yeah,
like maybe...
but it never makes
not
that
yet.
leap.
Not yet.
Right?
I mean, there's like 20% of that protest is just never gonna. They're just openly bigots that want to run minorities over with cars. But I mean, I feel like there's reachable people in there somewhere.
So I wanted to talk about, this is from few weeks ago. Speaking of softness, this girl who went to a hardcore show.
Mm-hmm.
And she was a MAGA girl, and was shocked to learn about the left-leaning politics of the band Bane.
No,
Bane still exists?
Absolutely. What can you tell us about Bane?
I think they're from Massachusetts, right?
Yes.
They're just like a positive hardcore band. I never super got into them, but I had a lot of friends who worshipped them back in the day.
If you were at any show in the mid-aughts, there would be at least one Bane hoodie in the crowd.
Oh my God! At least 2 or 3. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it was it was just good branding. It's just black hoodie, white letters
Like
across
athletic fonts,
Bane.
basically.
Were they
It's
named
iconic.
after the Batman villain?
Probably. I assume so.
Okay.
So this girl, Lori Kaufman is her name. She writes.
What was that eyebrow? Anti-Semitic? Of
Just
course.
wondering, is she a
Why
Jewish
would it
lady?
be anti-Semitic? Yeah,
I don't know.
It's like
Because
you know,
she's the villain.
a tribeswoman. I was the eye was like, oh, she's a member of the tribe. That was
Yeah,
the
or
only-
married into it.
Mm-hmm. But I don't know her avatar.
What does that mean?
Means she wasn't married into it. She's.
Oh, sad case of the Jew face. All right.
She says, guy from Bane just praised trans for 2 minutes straight and then said he hated the U.S. government and then said he wanted to wipe his ass with the American flag.
Oh, no.
Bye, Bane. Leaving early. Some of us are religious. Some of us have family that have fought for this country.
Yeah.
It's like, have you ever been to a hardcore punk show? No.
It could go either way, man. There's plenty of hardcore shows
Yeah.
that are very right-leaning. You never
Yeah,
know.
making
cute jokes, first of all.
Then you know, so she's like, oh, it sounds like somebody responded to her, you know, sounds like you've never listened to the lyrics of the band you're theoretically a fan of. Bye. And Laurie responds, you're right. I like Suicide Files better, and I don't support the LGBTQ. Now you go cry about it. And then others pointed out that Suicide Files are, in fact, more pro-LGBTQ than even Bane.
Okay.
So it was fun to watch. She was like the main character of Twitter for a good day or two. And just posting about how shocked she is about how tolerant the hardcore punk scene is.
What is she tweeting about now? Has she moved on? Is there other stuff, or is that where it ended? And she was like, I should stop tweeting.
Let's see.
Oh, whiner.
Yeah.
Is she now running for state senate with her
Yeah, probably.
Barbie dress on?
She's doing mostly retweets. She retweeted Kanye West asked homeless man to run his 2024 presidential campaign. First black woman socialist on Boston City Council in car crash drama.
Is
drama
Kanye
her
still
child-
running for president, by the way?
I haven't really heard anything
haven't-
about
yeah.
Kanye at all in months.
I think maybe his PR team got to him finally.
Or got away from him.
Let's save this thing. Disappear for 8 years.
Yeah.
She posts a photo of a white person doing blackface and says, if you do blackface this good, it should be allowed, LOL.
Oh,
No.
boy.
Good.
And like, it's not good. It's boring.
Boring
is it?
blackface, Rob. What's the entertaining blackface?
I guess
for
there's
you?
no, yeah, exactly. There's no, but I'm just saying it's like, there's nothing.
There's nothing that
just
would make
he-
her say that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like it's just, he put on too many coats of spray tan. That's all.
So it's not like Robert Downey Jr. in
Yeah.
Tropic Thunder.
Right. Then just like more mundane stuff. She says, I'm a Jewish Aries Russian warlord. Now
What?
all hashtag leftists surrender.
Excuse me?
Well, I'm convinced. I pack it in. You win. You got me. And where do I turn myself in?
Where was this show, by the way?
Boston. She's from Boston.
Boston,
As well.
Boston
And
Jews.
I guess this was based on a retweet from Stu Peters, who his
Isn't that what they had in the sauna cold cut table on the buffet options?
his
Dude Peters.
Stu Peters. His description writes post-apocalyptic warlord, and then the Christian emoji. Host the Stu Peters show.
Oh,
Okay, and
love
he
the
writes
Stu Peters show.
when I'm president, I'll sign an executive order on day one, making it legal in every state to execute convicted pedophiles the minute after they're found guilty.
Wow.
You
Bold
touch our
stance.
kids, we will kill you. Okay.
I always find it interesting that the people most anti-pedophiles touching kids are people that don't have kids.
And also, though,
Like, why are you
that
so
are that are
concerned about
that
this?
are intensely religious. So it's like, hey, if you're so against touching kids, maybe look within your church.
Well, no, only the priests are allowed because God gives them the permission. Everybody else is skipping the line. Get the fuck out of here.
It's for a good cause, you're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah,
good
no. I mean, whenever whenever someone starts ranting about pedophilia like that hard, I start to wonder, like, why are they amplifying this so much?
Trying to throw us off their scent.
Yeah, doesn't mean they're necessarily doing anything, but it's like sort of strike one, I feel.
Let's see what else is going on in the world. Motley Crue is touring.
Oh boy.
In Europe now. The tour is done in the States, so they're going to Europe. And wouldn't you know it, I guess Europeans are better at the internet.
Oh.
Because they recently played, I believe, Wembley Stadium.
Mm-hmm.
And this was the turnout.
Oh.
So
They headlined?
it was the Motley Crue Def Leppard co-headlining tour.
So that all that empty space of concrete there, was that also like available to be sold?
Yes.
Wow. Okay.
So for our audio listeners, the floor, which is the size of a soccer field or a football field, probably bigger than a football field, it looks like, is maybe less than half full, I would say.
Yes.
And
Being
then
generous.
And then in the actual seats, of the sections that aren't covered up, and about a third of the stadium is covered up, you could see it is not at all filled. Like there's plenty of empty seats everywhere. And in fact, in a reply to this, someone even posted a video. And
Can you imagine
can
paying
see.
like how much of those seats were this guy's taping from? It's like feels like
probably $200 at least.
yeah.
Jesus.
You can't even see. They're like ants. You can't even see the band.
You know, just and I don't want to have to defend Motley Crue, but just to give a little context, probably, I'm guessing Def Leppard is way more popular in London than Motley Crue, and Def Leppard was going on after. And if you look, it's daytime while Motley Crue's performing, so people probably just hadn't shown up yet. Which
That's
still
still-
says that
yeah.
they don't care about Motley Crue, but also
Right.
Motley Crue counts as an opening act here.
You're really just defending Def Leppard, is what you do.
They are pretty great. I bet it was packed by the time Def Leppard came on.
I'm
Let's
sure.
see.
Just what the upshot we're getting here is nobody likes Motley Crue anymore. That's what we're getting.
Or
I'm
there's just more interesting things to do in London during the day than show up early to see Motley Crue.
Yeah.
But if you're paying that much money, you're not going to take advantage of. Okay, here's footage from that same show. Oh, sorry. From that same show. We don't have to play the audio, right? And this is Def Leppard. Let's wait till get a good zoom out. But I'm doubting.
There might not be one. They're just focused on the stage, this jerk.
Rude.
Well, clearly it's nighttime at this point, so Def Leppard definitely was the second act.
Yes.
But we can't really get a good, like, full arena view. Oh, maybe?
Where?
I don't know.
Yeah, no, it's the same shot basically. Maybe at the very end.
Also, Shifty Shortcake says there were several major music shows happening the same day, including a festival at Hyde Park, so that definitely hurt sales.
How dare
wow.
they take money away from Def Leppard?
Yeah,
Shame.
that drummer's still saving up to get the second arm back.
Oh, he hadn't given up the dream, huh?
Did we
30
talk
years.
about when he got assaulted earlier this year? I don't remember if we talked about that
Oh
on
my
the show or
God!
not.
He must have had a hard time defending himself.
There was a funny quote with it.
Did they take his other arm?
Oh, poor fella.
It's such low hanging fruit. But then I have 2 arms, so I can easily grab the low-hanging fruit.
Okay, I heard a couple steps, then I just saw this flash, and the next thing I knew, I was on the ground. I landed on my backside, hit my head on the pavement. He reached his hand up in the air and said, "I am no threat to you." I don't think he knew who I was. He must have seen that I wasn't a threat because, I've only got 1 arm.
That's what I said. See, you guys laughed at me. Oh, how dare
I
you
didn't
say
laugh
that? He
at
said
you.
it.
I laughed because it's hilarious. A woman reportedly came to help out, but the suspect allegedly attacked the woman too.
I just realized that could get you killed because, like, let's say someone comes with a gun and they go, "Put your hands up," and he just puts 1 arm. They might think
you
you're
playing
fishing
with
for
me?
or you're fishing for a weapon or something with the other arm that he can't. He doesn't know you're fucking Rick Allen.
Oh my God! Yeah, they eventually arrested a 19-year-old, and this happened in Florida. So, no way that dude had any idea who he was beating up. He just saw one-armed man, and he thought he had an easy mark, which he did.
If you're in Florida, I mean, that could be fucking anything. The other arm could be doing anything.
He probably just thought an alligator ate that arm.
Yeah.
Did the work for him.
I heard this old joke. You ever hear this? What did the British driver say to the hitchhiker with 3 eyes, no arms, and 1 leg? Aye, aye, aye. You look homeless. Hop in.
That is so specific.
I know.
All right. You can clearly see that the pit is a little more filled in, but still pretty empty.
I mean, it's still a lot of people. It's just they might have picked too large of a venue.
Yeah.
But it's still a good amount.
Gotta play the hits.
Yeah.
Pour some sugar on me.
And then there was this photo.
Oh no.
But it's from the perspective of the stage, so you can't see the pit, but you can see the seats in the upper area are still empty.
I do not understand going to a musical concert and sitting all the way in the back row of a stadium like that.
Well, you still get the sound. You still get the massive stadium sound, and you watch the screen. Like, you're paying to watch the visual presentation. I agree with you, though. I absolutely agree with you. If you're set on doing this,
just pay a little extra. Sit down there.
Yeah. Burn the extra. But for some people, actually, the experience is more about getting hammered, and they'd rather save the $100 and spend that on beers.
And some people,
50 feet
Def
closer.
Leppard fans are old. They don't want to be standing the whole fucking concert.
Well,
seriously, they want a
there,
seat.
Though. Don't they have a seat on the floor?
No,
the pit. Oh yeah, the pit was standing.
The pit, yeah, but there's other closer places than the fucking nosebleed though that you can sit.
At that point, I think it's just money.
See, I thought you were gonna say they're so old that they wouldn't even see it if they were close to the.
Well,
stage.
that too.
That would be valid to me.
That too.
They don't fucking know what's going on. Oh, we're a Def Leppard concert. Yes, Grandpa. Yes, we are. It's your birthday. There's a mortadella table in the back too. You can have some cold cuts. Wrap their penises on them. With them.
Shifty Shortkick says the cost is insane. The better seats can add about 100 pounds. Each beer is 9 pounds. It's just too much sometimes.
No, I'm fully on board with that. I would just say then just don't bother. Like, what's the point of sitting all the way up there? Like, I don't know. I just wouldn't. I guess I shouldn't say anything too negative. Like, if you want to do it, go ahead and do it.
Well, I don't get it either, but people do it. That's how these tours keep happening. But
yeah.
I'm more and more just the stay home.
Everyone should just stay home. You could get eaten by a shark. You get some mortadella wrapped around your cock. I mean,
some people go out specifically for the mortadella on the cock.
Somebody sticks you up, steals your prosthetic arm. You can't play your drum set anymore.
God bless Rick Allen. What a sweetheart.
I mean,
But we
To do
now
all
live in
that.
a world where both Rick Allen and Rick Moranis have been assaulted in public.
Oh no! All the beloved Ricks.
The famous Rick. Oh, and speaking of which, Rick Froberg, R.I.P. This week is for Rick Froberg from Drive Like Jehu and Hot Snakes, who died. Another sad tragedy happening to a famous Rick, or at
How'd
least
he
famous
die?
to me.
How'd he die?
They said natural causes, which he was 55 years old. So I don't know how you die of natural causes at 55, but that was the only information I saw.
That's like Andre the Giant can die of natural causes at 55. That's
Just
about it.
living fast and dying young is what that is.
Sad.
More on him during our music break discussion.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
I never make it to 55.
Oh,
What are you talking about? I wish I lived to 55.
how old was he when he died, Andre?
Probably 50. I'm gonna guess. That's my 47. Let's just make a specific guess.
I think you're exactly right.
No way.
Or 46.
Wow, I'm good.
Yeah.
I just tried to think of his career and
Yeah,
where
46.
because he retired like literally. I mean, he died like literally right after he said he wasn't gonna wrestle anymore. So, gave me a sort of a pinpoint era to go shoot at.
It's just crazy because he always looked so old. It's like even
Yeah.
when he had like the Afro era, he looked 46 at that point.
Yeah.
So it's,
No, I watched some like footage from the late 70s, and I feel like he looked like before he gained a lot of his weight.
Yeah.
He looked pretty good, and he was
He was-
very athletic.
He was somewhat
More-
fit, I would say.
Yeah.
But there was certain shots where if like they would zoom out, you'd see him not standing next to a person or something. You wouldn't know that he was like a 7-foot fight. He looked like a average sized human because he was like in shape. He wasn't like all malformed like when he was big and fat.
Mm-hmm. But
R.I.P. a legend.
Absolutely. I was just gonna say, the legendest of legends.
Yeah.
Pretty soon they'll be able to AI him into like a Fast and the Furious movie or something.
Oh my God, you're right.
It's gonna happen. They got every other fucking wrestler in there.
Will Vin Diesel body slam him
Yes.
like onto a truck or something?
You'll never take over this space station. Oh yeah, watch this. Fucking body slam.
Dusty
Vin
Rhodes Muffler in the
Diesel!
chat.
Vin
Rob
Diesel,
answered.
you foiled my plans again.
That's a very mean thing to ask, Dusty Rhodes Muffler. I don't have that gigantism or whatever it is.
only
No, I
6'5",
do. I do not. Yeah, I don't have that tumor.
Is it a tumor? It's not a tumor.
That's not what the butt bump was?
No, thankfully not a tumor.
Oh,
It's
did the
just a
butt bump
superficial mark?
Was there a chance the butt bump could have turned you into Andre the Giant?
Yeah, if you didn't have it drained. That's why you have to have it drained all the time.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you
Yeah.
just shoot right up.
It has acromegaly in it.
Acromegaly. That's what he has. Thank you.
Acromegaly butt bump.
They just put a little spigot on it and they put it into like a beer mug and then they give it to little people to make them normal size.
Delicious. I drink that all the day and all the night.
That's really where Rob got his fuck you money from.
Oh,
It's from selling his butt bump juice
oh,
to little people.
The brown juice. If anybody wants some, hit me up on email.
The brown juice.
I might do another pull
Drainage?
in the next few. Another drainage.
Yum
in the next
yum
few-
yum.
Yeah, when they drained my butt bump,
I remember.
it was like this brown,
I remember.
like milk chocolatey kind of
Oh my god.
consistency.
Sid, for $1.2 million, you have to drink either that or you have to eat the remaining cold cuts from the sauna after a 2-hour.
I'll do the cold cuts.
But it's got to be the designated cold cut area where we said earlier it's consensual and people can do whatever they like with
The
cold
pre-cum area,
Not
pre-cum
the-
cold cut area.
cut. Like
Still the cold cuts though, because at least like both have bodily fluids on them, but at least there's an edible,
okay, fair.
tasty meat in one of them, and the other it's just a mug of bodily fluids.
But let me push back on that. One of
Oh.
them is a bodily fluid from one of your closest friends who you know is a healthy person and you're very and you trust him. Isn't that
Is he that
changeable?
healthy if he's got brown milk chocolate coming out of his backside?
fair point.
And also, he's still going to the bathhouse and rubbing up against all those other dudes.
You've made a persuasive argument.
Thank you.
I concede the point.
Well, also, 1.2 million is a very specific figure. Where did you
Just sounded
pull
good.
that out
I
of
don't
thin
know.
air?
Yeah. I know.
He wants to give an extra few K so you got your taxes covered.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
For the-
That's very smart.
I did a little number crunching while I was formulating that question. Called my accountant.
I actually have to call my accountant.
Oh,
I have to reach
tell
out.
him I said hi.
I just got done with a whole bunch of shit with my accountant. Really hard slog handling something for my mom, who's 80. She doesn't always do her taxes correctly, and I try to get her to do them through an accountant, and she's like, "Oh, I can do it," and then she just fucks it up completely. So I'm sorting out like 4 years of tax problems. It's a big headache.
Brutal.
She just gave away like 3 or 4 years of refunds. I don't want to get too much into it, but like she's owed like probably $10,000.
Oh God!
Didn't do it correctly. Didn't follow up on it, and now it's like we have to deal with the U.S. government. And there's like it's deducted because she did it so long ago. She fucked it up, and they just start taking money out of it as penalties. Because she didn't file it correct. Like she did. I don't know exactly what happened.
But at least she didn't mess up in a way that might send her to jail.
Oh no, not at all.
That's-
It's not that much. They don't come after you for that. She's owed a refund. There's nothing. She's not like they're not. They don't. She doesn't owe them money.
Yeah.
There's nothing to put her in jail over. She's just costing herself money.
Rob, can you get our Livecast accountant on this case?
That's my accountant.
Oh, okay. So then he already is.
I referred that guy to Rob. That was my
Oh,
accountant when I was married with Jennifer. It was Jennifer's accountant before we even met.
wow. All right. I
Yeah.
don't think I do that part. All right. Well then, good. It'll get squared away.
He's really good. This guy, like he's fucking like he's a little bit older, and when you talk to him, he kind of has like the older gentleman voice. So like you sort of assume something. Maybe I feel like I had prejudice within me that maybe like
He doesn't know what's going on.
He's fucking rock solid, man. Like a rocks. He's up on all the things, the e-filing and everything. That's like you might think he might be a little behind on. He knows his shit, bro.
Nice. Do you want to give his contact info? Turn this into a live read?
I don't know if he's comfortable with that.
He also doesn't like Bane's politics,
He's
sadly.
a very nice old man. You have to speak to him on the phone. He's not a fan of email or texting.
No,
What about in person?
I
haven't met him in person.
Really?
Know what he looks like.
Oh,
I think
wow.
he
No
lives in
clue.
Long Island. Or
I think
on Long
Jennifer
Island.
has met him in person.
Huh.
No, he lives in. I don't get who cares about this on the show, but I think he moved upstate.
Oh.
Pretty sure.
Well, I just want to let people know if they ever go to the Colosseum in Italy, do not etch your name.
Oh,
A tourist who etched his and partner's name in Colosseum says he didn't know it was ancient.
Oh.
An apology letter.
just thought it was like the side of a bodega.
What a fun sentence. I didn't know this was ancient.
I admit with the deepest embarrassment, it was only after what regrettably happened that I learned of the antiquity of the monument. Ivan Dmitriev wrote in a letter to Rome officials, and of course it's a Russian or a Slavic person.
No, I see. I don't believe that. I think he would have been like, "Blah, who the fuck cares? Building,
Yeah.
who gives a shit?"
This is
Well, I think
annexed
it's
for
because
Moscow.
These idiots.
his girlfriend's name is Haley.
No.
From Paramore?
Maybe.
After that, they went to a hardcore show, and they were surprised to hear the very left-leaning lyrics.
But I do believe the reason they wrote the apology letter is because
They were forced to.
they were their
By law.
lawyer recommended it because they don't want Italian officials to go after them.
That
They
makes
live in-
much more sense than a Russian actually felt regret about something
Yes,
like that.
they're while the city of Rome has yet to press charges, they're investigating.
But would he be extradited over this? I'm assuming he left the country at this point, right?
Maybe not. Maybe he's still there.
Let's see.
Just waiting to see what happens. Having some pasta in the meantime.
After this, he went to a banya. He was just talking to some poor guy sitting next to him, stuck there. He's like, I fucking write my name, big deal, on the fucking building.
They canceled me.
I'm getting canceled, just like the building. War.
He carved his girlfriend's name into some mortadell, and they kicked him out. It's fucked up.
Shifty Shortcake is correct. He is a British tourist. And
British Russian.
the vandalizing carries fines up to 15 grand and 5 years in prison. And also, the office of the mayor of Rome said that it never received any letter.
I mean,
Well, he tweeted it. That counts. He
I mean,
added the mayor of Rome.
am I in the minority? I don't know. I really feel like, that building's been through a lot worse than somebody scratching their fucking name on it. Like, you know what I mean? Maybe, yeah, don't do it. I don't support doing it. But is it that big of a deal that it should be 5 years in prison?
That seems like a stretch.
It's not the Mona Lisa. They could come and just fucking scratch the thing out.
If it was that important, there would have been security that would have caught him immediately, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so I don't think it carries a maximum of 5 years in prison. I want to be clear.
That's only if you don't tweet an apology.
The article concludes that in 2014, a Russian tourist was fined
so
$25,000 and received a 4-year suspended sentence, having written the letter K on the wall of the Colosseum. One letter gets you a $25,000 fine, and then 4 years you couldn't come into the country, basically.
I agree with that because I hate when people text me and write K. That's the most annoying fucking thing.
Such a waste of a text. I agree with you.
The 5 years thing is if you write on the building while assaulting Rick Allen or any other one-armed man, that's when you get 5 years.
Honestly, if Rick Allen was somehow able to carve his name into that building, props. With one hand, you did that?
You can, because it's such old material. It needs a chisel.
So he's allowed. Awesome. He has the chisel like in his armpit or something, and he's like smacking it with the other.
That's the thing. If this was to be the scene, you just see Rick Allen kneeling in front of the Colosseum. He's like, I can't do it. I can't fucking do it.
Maybe he tapes the chisel to his forehead and just.
Oh no!
I give up, man. I can't
do it. No, he tapes it to his drum triggers. He has drum triggers.
Nice.
He's just so used to using his feet for everything.
We got a brand new auto chisel machine. Auto chisel machine? Can that go on? That's not going to beat the other show title.
I think that's more SFW, so I think we should.
Oh.
It's a distant second.
Yeah.
I agree with Dusty Rhodes Muffler. He should have wrote something fun like D's Nuts.
Yeah.
Not for fucking Ivan and Haley.
Anyway, you know what I mean?
But really, like, it just shows such a narcissism. Like, what the fuck are you doing chiseling your name in anything? I never had the desire to do this. Like chiseling your name in a tree or in, like, get the fuck out of here. Like the world doesn't revolve around you.
Do you remember in school, like it was a big thing still when I was a kid. This is years ago, but like, I feel like at least once a year, some adult would tell the class or something like, don't ever carve your name in trees. That's a really cruel thing to do. The trees, they can feel it. I remember hearing this over and over and over and over again when I was a kid.
Like I never heard this lie.
It was as if they were like telling you not to kick dogs or something. They used to say it all the fucking time.
I just remember being told not to feed pigeons.
Oh yeah, that I got too all the time. Which I kind of agree with that because like they don't want the pigeons around and like, but I mean, I understand that at least a little bit.
No, I agree with that. Like, it's very annoying. I live by a very prominent park here in Brooklyn, and there are swans and geese in the lake. And there's millions of signs all over the lake. Please do not feed the wildlife. They are not meant to eat human food. And because so many people feed these animals, the animals have now learned to be aggressive. And they like approach people eating by the lake. Like, why the fuck aren't you feeding me? Or if a person starts feeding one duck, they get swarmed with 10 ducks.
This is fucking entitlement culture, Rob. This is exactly what it is. You give these people free things and then they just keep demanding.
You give them an inch, they want a mile.
What I've been saying the whole time. Okay. You know what? Another reason not to feed.
I tried to give them bread and they indicted me.
I was doing Bill Maher, but it is kind of similar. Yeah.
I thought you were doing Trump.
I see all these pigeons. People always talk about the pigeons and how they eat whatever they want. Very fascinating birds. Sparrows, not great. Not very good. Not a fan. What was I going to say? No, the pigeons, they're another reason not to feed pigeons. This is the main ecological reason, and I'm not a marine biologist or pigeon expert, but from what I've read is that they are very alpha. Like, they already take all the food that exists in the environment. So they starve. The presence of pigeons means like sparrows and all these little birds are starving usually if the pigeons are around. So you're just giving them more food, like it just keeps them around to like starve all the other animals. Whereas if you don't do that, at least it gets spread around and like the other animals have a chance to fend for themselves. They're very aggressive, fucking nasty birds.
I did everything right and they indicted me.
China.
Vagina.
I did everything right and they indicted me. I gave the pigeon bread and she indicted me.
Sorry.
It's just so fun. You get on Trump, you start doing a rant. It just feels very good. It feels great.
A very good student at the Wharton School of Finance.
Wharton School. I always starts whispering. So Wharton School of Finance.
Can you imagine? I wonder if they're proud of me. I got indicted. I wonder if this.
Got indicted.
I've been indicted twice now in a couple of months. You know, when I was studying and when I was
He's getting laughs.
a very, very successful businusman. Then I did The Apprentice.
Like falls asleep like Biden in the middle of a sentence.
Big
I was at the Wharton School of
What's really eye-opening for me is all of these press conferences now. Like, if you notice their Twitter clips, I only see this on Twitter. It's not like I'm ever watching a Trump press conference, but the only networks covering it would be like Newsmax or these like third and fourth tier right-wing news channels. Fox News doesn't even cover his fucking rants anymore.
Wow.
Well, look at this graphic here. Even I guess the indicted me one was on Fox.
Well, it might have been covered by both, and this person just grabbed it from
True.
Newsmax.
I think Fox really doesn't want Trump to win. Like, I just feel like they're just that tie has been severed there. He's just too much out there. He's too like, what's the word I'm looking for? Like he's too pseudo anti-establishment. Like he's not at all anti-establishment because he's a billionaire. But like he just blurts things out that make establishmentarianism look bad. Like
he also defending him got them sued for millions and millions of dollars.
Right. We want to steal the oil. No, you're supposed to say we're going there to spread democracy. No, we're taking the oil. Taking the oil, folks. He said something recently about Venezuela. He's like, when I was the president, we were going to go into Venezuela. We were going to take all the oil. We were going to take all the oil. And then they screwed it up. You know, and I'm like, okay, yes, you were going to do that. This is like the closest you can get to somebody telling the truth in the government. Yes, we are thieves and murderers.
He does accidentally tell the truth.
This is the only reason that elite people fucking hate Trump. Not because he do fucking war crimes, not any of this shit. He exposes the shit. He exposes the con game because he's a pea brain. He doesn't have any filter on his mouth. He's not going to do anything different than Biden is. He's just fucking blurts out the plot because he's a moron.
It's like in Goodfellas after they did that airport heist, and they said, "Don't show any of the money for a few months. We got to lay low." And then the one guy didn't lay low, and it's bad for business.
He walked around with a fistful of hundreds, going, "Vagina, vagina. We robbed the airport."
I found the clip you're talking about.
How about we're buying oil from Venezuela? When
I love what he has to say. How about we're buying oil?
What? We could have just stolen it.
Venezuela. When I left, Venezuela was ready to collapse. We would have taken it over. We would have gotten all that oil.
We would have gotten all that oil.
But now we're buying oil from Venezuela, so we're making a dictator very rich. Can you believe this? Nobody can believe it. You know where the oil, their oil is garbage. It's horrible. The worst you can get. Tar. It's like tar. And to refine it, you need special plants. And these people. How about?
Well, the U.S. has the plants that can refine the shitty oil, supposedly shitty oil that comes from Venezuela.
Isn't that good for the economy?
Well, what do you mean? Is what good for
If we're refining it here, isn't that generating money for?
Yeah, that's
business?
what he's saying. We were going to steal the Venezuelan oil, even though it's crappy. We can make it into good oil and sell it. That's the whole. I mean, the United States makes enough oil to cover everyone's oil needs in the U.S. There's no need to import any oil. We import it because we have the best refineries and resell it to all the other countries, and it makes the oil companies $1 trillion. There was really no need for the U.S. to import oil at all.
Nice if they could lower the prices a little bit more. Just a little bit more.
Good luck with that. I feel like we still have the lowest prices for oil anywhere in the world. Right? It's just higher than it used to be.
It's not fine, Sid.
I never pay. I fill up I don't pay attention to the changes in price. If I need gas, I'm going to get gas. Like what? I don't bitching about it doesn't impact anything. Just makes you basic. That's my take.
I will be the anti-basic president. Big Macs and Whoppers for everybody.
Nothing basic about Big Macs. If it was a quarter pounder, that would be basic.
Really?
I prefer the quarter pounder to the Big Mac personally.
Not me. I'm a Big Mac guy.
I don't know that I've ever had a quarter pounder. I think the Big Mac is more visually appealing, so that's the one I go for when I.
In your whole life, you never had a quarter pounder?
I don't think so.
It's very good. You know what? I tell people if they've never not into fast food and stuff, a quarter pounder is the closest thing McDonald's sells to a traditional burger you get in a restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
It's like thick and juicy.
Yeah, especially the quarter pounder deluxe with
it tastes a little bit processed. Like it still has that McDonald's.
Yeah,
but it's closer to a burger. A Big Mac is sort of like a specialty item.
Yeah. But if I want a real burger, I'm not going to McDonald's anyway. So
right, agree.
Sometimes you're in a rush.
I try, but I'll tell you what though, a Big Mac will make me go to McDonald's. Like I will do like better than and I don't say better than. It's like an alternative to having a real burger. Mm-hmm. Where a quarter pounder feels like a McDonald's imitation of a burger.
Fair.
For me, I go to McDonald's when I'm starving and I don't want to wait more than 3 minutes for my food. That's when I
do you still Uber Eats the big I think we discussed this. You said you walk into the McDonald's, right?
Yeah, I do the pickup, so it's ready by the time I get there. And I get those points, baby.
I'm trying not to eat
$1 iced coffees.
Wow. Is that a McDonald's one?
That is.
Wow.
I have to say the McDonald's iced coffee is tolerable. It's better
tolerable or good?
Better than the Dunkin' Donuts one. It's good. I will say it's good.
Better than Starbucks?
Yeah, I don't really like the Starbucks iced coffee. I feel like their coffee tastes burnt. Their traditional roast. I will always take a Starbucks over a Dunkin' Donuts, but I would prefer I'd rather go to like a mom and pop coffee shop and get a cappuccino from there.
Do you remember that guy, the kid from Brooklyn, that viral dude? I think he passed away. It was like 10 years ago. He did a whole thing on Starbucks. You go to fucking Starbucks, you get a coffee, it's like $37 now. He just does all these rants and shit.
This vaguely sounds familiar.
I don't know if
he's like an old guy, right?
He's like an older guy. He's probably, at the time, like 55-ish. Big, heavy guy.
Great point from Shifty Shortcake. McDonald's is the perfect pre-gig meal. Quick, cheap, and not so filling that you can't drink beer after. I'm not really much of a beer drinker, but exactly that. It's not like you could certainly order enough to get a food coma, but I feel if you just get a burger and some fries.
You were telling me earlier that that's what you do before BJJ classes. You get a nice McChicken and a large fries.
No.
You found that real quick.
No way. I go on an empty stomach. I once ate a breakfast very early on in BJJ, right before
you became
class,
a brown belt.
It did not No, it didn't come out that way. It came out through through the mouth. I puked at the end of my class
means
because it
it's
was so
working.
intense. So I go in with mostly an empty stomach. At most, I'll eat a banana if I wake up early enough. But if it's like within an hour, I will not eat anything before my class. I'll just drink a lot of water. And funny enough, our coach mentioned that like you can in fact drink too much water because somebody chugged like I forget how much he said, but a lot of water, and then got like somebody landed on his stomach and he had to run out and puke all that water that he chugged. So
At least he didn't piss himself.
Yeah. I want to mention our Patreon, patreon.com/RIPALivecast. We have a great bonus episode right now. Every month you get 2 bonus episodes. And you get access to our entire archive of like over 2 years of bonus episodes with watch-alongs, listen-alongs, roundtable discussions about movies. We watched documentaries like the black metal documentary Until the Light Takes Us. We watched, I believe, the third, what's her name? Decline of Western Civilization.
What's her name?
Penelope Spheris was the person I was thinking. And a ton of other stuff. And the new episode right now is we listen through Saint Anger. It's the 20th anniversary of Saint Anger last month now, June 3rd, I believe it came out. And so we went back to see if it still sucks. It does, but not as much as we assumed. There were things we liked about it. So you could hear us say very few positive things and very many bad things about this album. So go to patreon.com/RIPALivecast to hear that. Here is this. You found the Starbucks rant, I see. Durinsky.
I just want to say it's very compressed, the video, so it's like kind of hard to see what the good. It's. Yeah,
I think.
Oh yes, this guy.
The kid from Brooklyn.
Hey, the big man's back. www.thekidfrombrooklyn.com. You know, the big man got up this morning. You know, I felt like having a hot cup of coffee and a piece of pound cake. You know, over here in New Jersey, I wound up in one of them Starbucks. You know, I knew the joint wasn't right as soon as I walked in. You know, I seen people sitting on couches, lounge chairs, whatever they were fucking drinking. They looked like fucking ice cream sodas, you know, with fucking mounds of fucking whipped cream and fucking all kinds of shit outside. You know, finally I get up to the girl. She says, you want an El Grande, you want a chocolate Lotto, Carmelo, Lotto, cherry light. I say, listen, honey, I don't know what kind of fucking place this is. I just want a large fucking coffee and a fresh piece of fucking pound cake, you know. She says, that's $7. Plus, she had the fucking balls to have a fucking tip cup over there. She expected me to give her a fucking tip. I said $7 fucking for a fucking coffee and a fucking pound cake. Fucking stick it. I went right around the corner of the fucking pancake house. I take it up to my mother. I got the fucking breakfast special. 2 eggs over, home fries, bacon, sausage, 2 pancakes, all the coffee you can drink. They threw in a fucking shot of OJ, and for an extra $1.50, they gave me a fucking cheese Danish. I walked out of there fucking stuffed. Cost me $8.25 for the whole fucking ball of wax. I couldn't eat the rest of the fucking day. What's the fucking working man supposed to do? You go to one of them fucking Starbucks. The poor working guy. What do they think they're serving over there? Fucking liquid gold, a fucking cup of coffee, and a piece of pound cake, $7? Stick it up your ass, fucking Starbucks. What about the fucking working man? Anyway, think about it. This is the old big man. www.thekidfrombrooklyn.com and the big.
Bless his heart.
Yeah.
Stick it up your ass.
I wonder if they do rants about bathhouses and the mortadell that they serve being overpriced.
Hey, put the fucking mortadell out there. I don't know. Some guy wrapped it around his cock. I don't know what the fuck. Stick it up your ass.
Well, stick it up your ass takes a whole other meaning when you're at the bathhouse.
You probably already did that. Anyway, there's the kid from Brooklyn.com.
Sadly,
Like
the kid from
Tommy's
Brooklyn.com, the kid from Brooklyn.com is no longer active, sadly.
He's
Well, he said he's
I-
dead.
He passed away several years ago.
Literally.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I remember someone was. I think I subscribed to that channel just because it was so funny. And there was at some point a memorial, like whoever ran the account posted, this guy died and he passed away sadly. There was like a short video mentioning that he passed away, if I'm remembering correctly. Of course, that's always questionable.
Let's talk about our Spotify playlist.
Oh, wait, Rob, didn't we get an email?
Oh, we did get an email. I'm sorry. Thank you for reminding me. We actually got 2 emails. One we got from Brandon. Let's call him just Brandon. We don't want to give his full email address. Hey, Livecast. It's Brandon in BFE Dwight, Nebraska. Yes, another person besides Guillermo, however you spell it. Listened for a long time, but never wanted to call in because of Sid. I have listened to episodes 1 to 500 a total of 4 times now. Wow.
Oh, my God.
I listen to new ones when they come out when I have the time. I like that, is episodes 1 to 500 like how people are like, I only watch season 1 to 10 of The Simpsons.
Yeah.
I remember back when I first listened, my first impression was, wow, this Sid guy is a total douche. And after I listened for a little bit, Sid became my all-time favorite, and he still is. I do have a dream I had from about 4 years ago that I still have saved, so I'm just going to copy and paste it. Hope you guys enjoy. So here's a dream that Brandon in Nebraska had about us.
Oh, boy.
So I was walking around in Russia. I don't know why. And I was looking for a telephone. And I hear someone say, fuck the telephone, in the chic voice. And I respond with, of course, the way Shlomo would say it. And he tilted his head and he asked, metal injection? And I was like, fuck yeah. I thought I would never met a person that listened to it. More so randomly in Russia. Still don't know what I was doing there. Then after that, we walked around talking about the live cast, and I told him about how I messaged Rob on Facebook before some links about a live Judd concert, and he was so starstruck, like, oh my God, you talked to Robert Paspani? Like he was this big celeb, LOL. Hey! And after that, I woke up. Thank God, because I think he wanted to fuck me.
Oh.
What?
There's a lot to unpack in that one.
Well, thanks for that email, Brandon.
That was lovely.
And
I like how he listens to 1 to 500 over and over before listening to the new shows. I don't know how to take that. But thank you for being a loyal listener.
we did also get an email from Israeli guy who noted that apparently I don't know every Jewish person, with the smiley face emoji. He said he's never heard of the comedian Modi. Last week I talked about the Jewish comedian Modi.
Join the club.
I went to see him.
I've never heard of it.
He said, but anyway, Modi is short for Mordechai. So I can imagine why he's using the short form of his name, Mordechai.
I always hear the people like in around here when the person's Mordechai, they call him Mordi, Mordi. I never heard Modi. Maybe it's an Israeli thing because the people around here are like Sephardic and Ashkenazi Jews. So maybe it's an Israeli cultural thing.
He's also Israeli.
What do you mean? That's what I'm saying. That's why maybe Modi says Modi and not Mordi.
But he's Sephardic, though. You said the people around you are Sephardic.
Oh, well, yeah, maybe that was the wrong. Maybe it's an Israeli versus American thing, I should say.
Mm-hmm. So let's go to our Spotify playlist. Each week, we each pick a song, and we throw it on the playlist. The playlist is now over 35 hours long with over 500 songs. Just search RIPL Livecast Music Break on Spotify. Hit that shuffle button. You'll get a nice hodgepodge of all different types of music. I picked Radiohead, High and Dry from the Bends. YouTube has been algorithmically feeding me old episodes of 120 minutes. And they're episodes that I never saw because I didn't have cable at the time. And this one episode was from like 95, and it just had live performances in studio. And the first one was, it was Radiohead, and they were performing Just from the Bends.
Oh, my favorite.
So good.
The best music video.
And it just reminded me how much I love that song, and I haven't listened to it in a while. And then I went back and listened to the entire album, The Bends, which is phenomenal. And I picked High and Dry because it really just stuck out to me. Besides having an incredible hook, the lyrics are so fucking great. And the whole album is really good. Give it a listen. But so I picked High and Dry. That's my pick. Sid, what did you pick?
Well, as I mentioned earlier, Rick Froberg passed away. He was in the bands Drive Like Jehu, Hot Snakes, Obits. I picked a song from Hot Snakes called Automatic Midnight. It's a pretty great song. He had a pretty distinct voice, and he will be missed. Darren?
Derinsky.
Well, the song I was going to pick turned out to not be on Spotify. After 40 years after the fact, I learned was completely oblivious to the fact that the song "Girls Just Want to Have Fun" by Cyndi Lauper. It was a cover song.
Really?
Written by a man and performed by a man. And it's true.
I had no idea.
Found it on YouTube. His name is Robert Hazard. It came out in 1979, and it's a pure cover song, not written by her in any way.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. That was my reaction too.
So it's even like performed similarly?
It's like
Or
a
does she make it her
more,
own?
I would say it's a different style completely. It's sort of like like sort of the 70s alternative style of music. I feel like college rock-ish, or maybe like I don't know how to put it. I don't. Maybe if you want to listen to a few seconds of it, maybe you can come up with a better description. But I'd say it's more ironic, and it's definitely not tailored to pop radio like Cyndi Lauper's version is at all. It's not like a poppy song. So I ran to get that to play it on the show, and it just was not available on Spotify. So I instead just took the last song that I had listened to, which was "Human Fly" by the Cramps, which I know
Pretty great choice as well.
And yeah, that's my story. But definitely check out that that whole story. It's a very interesting story. I started Googling, went down a rabbit hole, and also check out the Cramps. The Cramps are great.
Facts.
I'm sorry that my whole backstory was not about the song that I picked, but it is deserving of. But what can you really say about the Cramps? They're just really good, and everyone knows them. I'm not going to add anything to their oeuvre or their biography, so just listen to them. They're fantastic.
And I want to mention our top Livecast fans of the week. Of course, if you join our Patreon, our regular membership fee is $5 a month, and we appreciate all the support. And if you want to throw us a few extra bones, if you love what you hear, if you've listened to 500 episodes 4 times, and we've given you all this free content, and you want to give something back, we appreciate that as well. And to be a top Livecast fan, it's $10, and you get a shout out at the end of the show, which is right now. And how should we do it?
Do you want to be that guy from the bathhouse complaining about how all these people tried to cancel him?
All right, I guess. I mean, like, what else are we doing here, folks? Right? Let's go. So, yeah, I was talking to Eric, and I called him a he, but he was like, "Whoa!" He had to call the office, and then Benjamin and Dan R come up, and I'm like, "What's up, my N words?" And they were like, "Whoa, you can't say that." And then Sam I Am and Mindy Mayer's kippa came in, and I said, "Take off that kippa, not in here. You know, we don't need to wear those kippas. You know, they don't really do anything. You know, they don't really help." So then they sent me
That's
to
a different story. You're just mashing
I like
up.
that you're weaving it in. This is great.
So then they sent me to Shashur Sasusis, and I run into this guy, Hugo, who tells me he likes tacos. And I'm like, tacos? I talked to Bill Maher, and he told me that tacos belong in Mexico, and we're in America here. You know what I'm saying? And I'm drinking the Lando Danks and washing it down with a little LaCroix, and then I tell Corey and Scotty H, "Why don't you ever say dirty words?" And they tell me I go talk to Doug Pigman, and I'm like, "That's not nice. You shouldn't call a pig a man, okay? Don't do that. And instead call Douglas Huey Levison the N-word. That's much better."
Jesus Christ.
And then call, "Hey guys, it's Josh," a little soft. You know what I'm saying? All right, I gotta go take another schwitz.
Oh.
That's the show, folks. That's what your $10 gets you. Thank you for listening in. And
Well, I would have paid $10 for that.
Yeah,
and we'll see you next week.
Bye, everybody.